Hello, hello. Today is White Scrap Wednesday, so I pulled out my little scrap container and I just pulled out a couple pieces from there. And I figured we could make a card. And I did measure these. This is 1 3/8 by 5 1/4. This one is 2 3/8 by 5 1/4. So, and that should fit right on the card front. Yep, with a little room around both. So that's perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping for. All right, so the top one, I'm going to use my folder, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little green ink pad here, and I'm just going to trace over, just pull the color on to those little dots like that, and then, is that wide enough? I think I might need to go one more. There, that should be wide enough. And then I'm going to lay this down on it and press that together, and we're going to run this through my Cuttle Bug. There. Oh yes, look at that. That is so cool. All right, so then I just need to wipe this off, and I can spritz this with some water and wipe that off. That's one thing about these ink pads is if you use that dye-based ink, you can just wipe it right off with just a little bit of water, and that works perfect. All right, we can leave this one open to dry, and that's the top portion of our card. That is so cool. All right, and then the bottom portion, then what I want to do with that is I'm going to put it on my scoreboard, and I'm going to score lines going across it. So and yes, if you have a folder, then you can use another folder, a second folder to do this piece. But I only have this one folder out right now because we've been packing slowly but surely to move. So while we're looking for a house, we don't even have a house spot yet, but we're slowly but surely packing all the extra stuff so that when we can find the right house, we can just move right there. And that will be nice. Alrighty. So all my extra folders are packed away. There, so now we got this ready. So now we can turn. That looks really cool. So now what I want to do is just take this and run this right across. There, that looks pretty neat. Alrighty, so then this is going to go on the bottom. Look at that. Isn't that neat? I like it. All right, so now I can put this back up on my shelf. Or actually, do I want to do that? Yeah, I may as well. I'll leave it out just in case. I'm thinking, what am I going to put on the inside? We'll see. All right, so let's go ahead and glue this one down. And we'll use my glue stick. And it's funny because the bumpies are up on this side. So I could have actually ran it through the folder and then just run the ink pad over the top of the bumpies, and that would have worked too. But I wanted to show you two different ways. All right, that's good. Give that a little back rub. Then we can get this glue on and we can put that on. Yes, awesome. Just blame it on your inner child. I had a whole stack of cards that my girlfriend gave me, and I cut them all apart. They were store-bought cards, and I'm using the bits and pieces that I can. All right, perfect. There, so now we've got the top and bottom of the card. I really like that. That's sharp. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to get out my I've got this. Let's see. I'm trying to think what kind of color strips do I have. Let's see. That would be pretty. Ooh, that's pretty. I could do that one. But that one's not cut evenly. I would want it more even to fit down in there if I was going to do that. I could do a white one. I could do one of these. If there's one cut evenly. Sometimes they are and sometimes they're not. This one is. All right, good. I'm going to use that, and then I'll get one that's not so straight and put that on the inside. That's a good idea. Perfect. That will be a handsome looking card. I like that. Okay, so let's do this. There. Perfect. Try to line that up right in the center. That is perfect. Okay, then we can trim the edges. Nice, nice, nice. All right, then this piece can go on the inside. It's not pretty. Polka dots and lines, how fun. I remember telling my mom, I don't care what kind of dress you want to make me, as long as it has polka dots and pockets. I love polka dots and I love pockets. And she would make me polka dot pocket dresses and tops and blouses, and oh my goodness, it was so much fun. And when footy pajamas came out for big people and I saw them in the store, then I said, Mom, I want you to make me a pair of those. And she said, okay. So we went to the store and she took her pad of paper and she drew up a little plan, and we came home and she took the patterns that we had and chose the best ones for the job and pieced all the pieces together and made me footy pajamas. I always loved the way that she and my grandmother both sewed, because they could just cut things apart and redo them. And so that's how I learned how to sew. Was I know how to use the patterns too, but it's so fun to just, like once I was at my sister-in-law's house and she said, oh, I need more shirts and this is my favorite shirt. This one fits me the best. And I said, well, take it off. You got newspaper? We can make you a pattern. So we took it off of her and I drew up a pattern and then we made her 4 shirts. That was fun. Okay, so now we need something to decorate this. She was thrilled because she had fabric. All right, green. Let's pull out the green bag. And let's see what we've got in here. We've got a bunny. That is really cute. Shall we do the bunny or shall we do the silly goofy guy? Oh, the silly goofy guy. He's hilarious. All right, let's put the silly goofy guy on there. Why not? And I have a wiggle jiggle, so let's use that. Trimmed my nails again. There. Got to love it. And you can buy these wobble things right on Amazon, or I do have, which I will connect, a video on how to make your own, and they come out pretty good. But these were such a good deal when I bought them that I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to spend money on them. Look at that. That is so fun. That is funny. All right. Let's see. Words. Happy birthday. That might be fun. That's cute. All right. Where did you go? Where did you go? Right there. been doing good with making my birthday cards lately. It's nice to have them ready to go. And I like to have a variety of different, some silly ones, some pretty ones, some serious ones, some plain ones, some bright, crazy ones. That's perfect, just like that. All right, let's do that. And I think I'm gonna lay that flat, but I think I'm gonna do this. And this, here's a neat little trick for you. If you want ink around, but you don't wanna get too much, then just take your words and then just line it up in the shape of a V, right on top of the plastic that's here. Right up, and put it right up against the pad, and then just pull it, turn it around, and then just pull it. And then you get those two edges nice and prettied. There you go. Love it. All right, now that can go back on that. And this can go on here. So let's go ahead and lay this down. And where did that other glue stick go? Right there. I was trying to think, where did these come from? And that's right, these were the kids, the grandkids' flashcards when they were little, learning different colors and stuff. That's funny. Happy birthday! So I could send that to any of my grandchildren, and they would remember that that was one of their cards. That's funny. Alrighty, so what do you think of that? You know what we should do is add 2 wiggle eyes. That would be hilarious. And then the wiggle eyes would wiggle too. All right, that's funny. We are definitely doing that. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. That's fun. All righty. And I want to make sure I don't cover up those eyebrows. That is so cute. Nice. All right. So there you go. So there's the outside. Isn't he handsome? And there's the inside. Very simple. So I hope you like this White Scrap Wednesday idea, and you'll give it a try. And until we meet again, happy crafting. Bye-bye.